As the world transforms through economic shifts and technological breakthroughs, India stands at a defining moment. Rooted in its civilisational wisdom, yet driven by innovation and aspiration, a new growth story is unfolding.
I extend a very warm welcome and offer profound gratitude for all of you for being present for this very important discussion for today's Mantraṇā.
Welcome to India's premier knowledge hub, Bharat Ki Soch, which draws from the wisdom of India's timeless knowledge to shape solutions for today's challenges across governance, economy, health, sustainability and national security. Because India's future will not just follow the world, it will help illuminate it. Bharat Ki Soch has recently organized a thought-provoking discussion based on the theme of shedding our colonial vestiges, lessons for a Viksit Bharat. This discussion was part of the flagship series of Mantraṇā. Here are some key takeaways from the session.
In today's theme that talks about shedding our colonial vestiges, lessons for a Viksit Bharat, this theme is not only timely but transformative. I would request Mr. Anil Rajput, Chairman Bharat Ki Soch, to open the session for us with his welcoming remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to welcome all of you to Mantraṇā, the flagship discussion series of Bharat Ki Soch. I would like to acknowledge that today marks 1 year of Operation Sindoor, a powerful reflection of India's courage, resolve, and strategic clarity in defending our country against terrorism. In many ways, it also embodies the spirit of Bharat Ki Soch, an India that thinks with confidence, acts with conviction, and responds to challenges on its own terms. Bharat Ki Soch is an intellectual endeavor. It seeks to bring India's civilization wisdom into contemporary discourse, to bridge the past and the present, and to shape a future that is both rooted and forward-looking. At its core lies a simple but powerful idea that India must think for itself, draw from its own knowledge systems, and craft pathways that reflect its unique realities and aspirations. It is this larger endeavor that frames the theme of today's Mantraṇā, shedding our colonial vestiges, lessons for a Viksit Bharat, a theme that confronts a defining challenge in India's journey towards a developed nation. To reflect on this important topic, we are honored to have Shri Amitabh Kant. Let's all give him a round of applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, and let me at the outset compliment Mr. Rajput and Mr. Pachnanda for this very unique initiative of Bharat Ki Soch. Ladies and gentlemen, when the British colonized India 200 years back, India's share in global GDP was more than 25%. By the time the Britishers left India in 1947, our share had dwindled down to just 2% of the global GDP. India had become a destitute by the time it became independent because of colonial rule. It had 80% poverty, only 12% literacy, and an average life expectancy of 32 years, a mere 32 years. So, ladies and gentlemen, on this occasion, it's important to realize that Indian civilization goes back over 6,500 years. And it's important to recall this on the anniversary day of Operation Sindoor, that the Indian civilization is also the oldest continuing civilization in the world. From Jaichand, the powerful ruler of Kannauj in 12th century, to Mir Jafar, commander of the Nawab of Bengal's army in the 18th century, India has been sold quite often. And therefore, in my view, character is critical. National character is key to unity, growth, and progress. Ladies and gentlemen, without national character and strength of your own country and your civilization and your history and your roots is critical. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, it's important that we understand the critical importance of culture, of history, of civilization. And as we march towards 2047, the Prime Minister has laid out a vision that we should move from being a $4 trillion to a $30+ trillion economy. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we march towards 2047, Prime Minister Modi has laid out the 5 pran or 5 pledges. And chief among them is the removal of any trace of colonial mindset. This is the lesson learned after 78 years of infrastructure. Development is not merely about manufacturing and infrastructure. It is about the will of the nation to stand tall on its own term. We are shedding the vestiges of the past, not out of bitterness, but out of a realization of our own potential. A Viksit Bharat will be a nation that is economically prosperous, technologically advanced, and legally just, but it will be a nation that is culturally and intellectually sovereign. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be here on this occasion with you. I'm delighted to speak to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amitabh Kant. That was truly thought-provoking and an outline of the road that we have traveled so far. But I would also want to dwell on the path ahead. Mr. Amitabh Kant, the changes that we see around us today, we're seeing that we have a thriving democracy, a democracy where people are demanding results from governance. And that is the change that we have seen. Whether it is pro-incumbency election results in states like Assam, whether it is anti-incumbency and need for change in Bengal, whether it is trying out a new formula like a state in Tamil Nadu, the fact of the matter is people are demanding and political parties have to deliver. In such an atmosphere, I want to ask you, how do we take this whole identity, भारत की सोच, इसे आगे कैसे ले जाना है? जनता जानती है, राह पकड़ चुकी है, लेकिन स्पीड कैसे पकड़े इस राह पर जिस पर तेजी से दूसरे देशों से compete करना होगा?
India is a very lively, very vibrant, very energetic democracy. If you do not deliver, if you do not perform, you will not survive in this democracy, and therefore, to my mind, good governance is the key. People of India are looking for good governance. They want to ensure that people, elected people, work with integrity, with honesty, but with good governance. And to my mind, one of the lessons I learned as CEO Niti Aayog while doing the aspirational district program, covering 115 of the most backward districts of India, that it is today possible to use technology, use real-time data, monitor, put out the performance on outcomes, go for outcomes, look at health outcomes, educational outcomes, learning outcomes, put out data in public domain. Let every citizen know, let every collector know, let every elected representative know whether you are moving up or coming down. That was a program which the Prime Minister had made us do. Many of the backward districts jumped up and became the best performing district by the sheer process of data, by the sheer process of competition, by the sheer process of good governance, and by the sheer process of naming and shaming and putting out data in public domain. So my view is that every single state of India must aim to grow at 10% plus for the next 3 decades. Yeah, and that is critical. If states of India grow at 10%, India will automatically grow at 10.5%. And this is the key to India's growth story. The center has done a lot of ease of doing business. It has liberalized, it has deregulated. The challenge now is for the states to be the anchors of development in India through good governance.
We're also facing headwinds because of the situation in West Asia. World today is absolutely unpredictable. How does India prepare to deal with a situation of this kind, which it has never done so? And we often talk about the fact that India's global stature has increased, no question about it, over the last decade and a half. But how do we actually become a voice on the high table which can navigate world situation in a manner that is acceptable, not just to Indians, but to the world at large?
First and foremost, I say that, if India's stature had not radically enhanced itself, it would have been impossible to achieve a full consensus during a very complex time of G20, when the Russia-Ukraine war was at its peak, and only because of the stature of India, the world, imagine, Russia, China, United States, Turkey, Saudi, all of them came to the table and brought in unanimity. Secondly, I would say that at this particular point of the West Asian crisis, there are 4 key issues. One is we must achieve energy independence. It's important because you can't have $180 billion worth of fossil fuel imports and make yourself dependent on imports from the rest of the world. It's important. India is climatically blessed. It has renewable energy. It today does 270 gigawatts of renewable energy. We must take this target, not 500 gigawatt as the Prime Minister has put it. We should enhance it, to my mind, make India the champion of renewable energy in the world. India has the climatic conditions to achieve this. No other country in the world has the climatic conditions. Second, make India independent in critical minerals. The critical mineral processing technology has been captured by one country in the world. It's important that we become a champion of critical mineral, because for battery, for storage, and many other technologies, we can't be dependent on imports from other places. Thirdly, it's important that we become independent in semiconductor. The future of the world in terms of automobile, defense, technologies, every single thing will be driven by chips. And therefore, not merely designing of chips, but manufacturing of chips. And today, thanks to the semiconductor PLI, we are seeing 12 different manufacturers in India. Make yourself independent in semiconductors. And lastly, make yourself completely independent in clean technologies, which will enable India to grow with sustainability. So whether it's battery storage, whether it's clean mobility, 4 areas, therefore. Energy independence, semiconductor independence, clean technologies independence, and critical mineral processing independence are the key to India becoming an Atmanirbhar Bharat.
You've steered the G20 that India hosted. You've also been part of the AI summit. AI is something that's going to change the world as it existed, some decades ago. How do you look at that summit bringing together the world forces, but what are the learnings of what India needs to do better and push a whole population towards it? It's not going to happen if just a few companies or just a few governments do it. It will have to be a mass effort by aspirational India as a whole. How do we build a blueprint for that? What are the learnings? How do we take this forward?
So make no mistake, there are a lot of young people sitting in this hall. It's important to say that artificial intelligence will be the most productive force in the world. It's a general purpose technology which will penetrate every single sector of the economy. It's critical. First and foremost, there are frontier models. China is behind USA. US has taken the lead. In computing power, companies like NVIDIA, etc., control. They have a monopoly. But what India has is one, it controls 20% of the data of the world. Important to understand that artificial intelligence runs on data. And data, 20% of the data is controlled by Indians. Secondly, computing power, data centers all require energy. There's a shortage of energy in the world, but India has renewable energy. Today, data centers and computing power is using more energy than the city of New York and more than the country of Japan. And therefore, you'll need clean energy. Only India has clean energy. And therefore, data centers' future energy is here. And last point I want to make is that if you read the Stanford AI index this year, in the 9th year of that index, India is doing talent absorption. Indian talent is coming back from the US to drive global capability. 2,117 global capability centers are being driven by Indians in India. And therefore, India is doing talent absorption. No other country has the talent which India has. And therefore, talent, data, energy, all are critical. Now, we must understand that in the world of AI, computing power is somewhere else, frontier models are somewhere else, but frontier models can be driven by data, which India has. World needs clean energy, India has. Talent is something which India has. And therefore, in this whole interdependent world, India must emerge as a champion in this. Lastly, point is important that whoever has the frontier model, we must use AI to transform lives of citizens. We must use AI to improve learning outcomes, health outcomes, nutritional standards, improvement of women. Otherwise, AI is not fit for purpose. And therefore, if India is able to use AI to solve the problem of 1.5 billion Indians, it will actually become the model for transforming the lives of next 5 billion people who will be moving from poverty to middle class in the next decade. And that is where the opportunity for India lies.
Very well said. You spoke about harnessing the output of women in this country. They've lagged behind. There is no doubt about it. And in the recent elections, we've seen that gone is the conundrum of an M factor that was traditionally known. We're now talking about an M factor that influences elections, and that is the Mahila factor, the women factor. I want to ask you, the women are contributing, they are deciding who will govern them. Why are they still not as large a part of the workforce of the change that India requires than they are currently doing? How do we push that latent energy forward?
So, first and foremost, Navika, I am against giving free doles, free subsidies, free programs at the time of elections in every state for everyone except women. I am in favor of women because if you transform the lives of women, they account for 50% of India. If you transform the lives of women, then you transform the lives of not merely Indians, but you transform the lives of India. Number one. Number two, the number of women in workforce was actually 24-25%. The latest data shows that it has gone up to 36-37%. But my view is that in every single competitive exam, including the IAS, women are outperforming men in every walk of life. Including IPS, women are outperforming. And in my own college, St. Stephen's College, it used to be an all-male bastion. The most prestigious course was economics honors, where no girls, only boys. But by the time my daughter went to that college, 78% of the students in that class were only girls. There were hardly any boys. And the principal of St. Stephen's College said that you have to give 10% extra marks to boys so that it can remain a co-ed institution. So the girls will outsmart
Amitabh
boys.
Kant.
In the next decade, the girls will outsmart boys in India in every walk of life.
I think kudos to your wife Ranjita here, and to every single woman in this country. Women are better than men. Having said that, on a serious note, within India, we have many Indias. We have the greatest talent pool. We have the greatest cultural strength. We have intellect that is unparalleled. Yet we don't have the discipline. I mean, if you just go any big city, they won't even drive in their own lane. How do we make India, a disciplined India, to be able to extract the most from the potential that Indians have?
This is the most important question that you've asked me. I'm a great believer in discipline. And I believe that without discipline, we can't make our character. Without character, we can't build India. And without India, we can't build a civilisational India. It's absolutely important to build discipline from childhood level onwards. Now, we keep talking about air pollution in Delhi, so many things, but the citizens of Delhi do not even segregate their waste in their households. And if you go across, they keep blaming municipalities, but they're dirty their places outside. I've been going to Indore every 6 months. I've seen the transformation of Indore from one of the dirtiest cities of India to one of the best cities for the last 7 years. There's a great sense of pride. There's a great sense of honor. Nobody can throw a garbage or litter the place at all. Others will catch you and beat you. There's a sense of discipline. And that sense of discipline must be inculcated from childhood level and must get into every single Indian. I'm a great believer in that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amitabh Kant. Bharat Ki Soch is an initiative that has been taken up by Mr. Anil Rajput, and I'm sure Mantraṇā will take this whole process of getting great thought leaders together and making a blueprint of how the future for India should actually unravel. Kudos and compliments to you for this initiative. With that, I hand it over to Mr. Pachnanda.
As we draw to a close, let us reflect not merely on the breadth of ideas we have traversed, but on the depth of the transformation they call us toward. Till the last 10 years, we have been a nation succeeding in searching for its own soul in the mirror of another person's making. In the last 10 years, we have truly woken with great pride. Viksit Bharat is not merely an economic milestone for 2047. It is a sign that search ending. It is the realization that the most potent force is a civilization's unbroken will to be itself, for the country and for the citizens. Let us carry forward not just the insights of today, but the responsibility they entail. Let us ensure that the spirit of decolonization becomes an old reality in our governance, institutions, and daily lives. We are building successfully a Bharat that is economically unstoppable, technologically sovereign, and intellectually free. A nation that is rising from strength to the pinnacles of glory, success, honor, and national pride. Thank you and Jai Hind.